The job of the Satan, number one, is to test us in order that our free choice should be elevated, in order that we should have tests and pass the tests and thereby earn the reward God is going to give us forever.
What I mean to say by that is that the essence, the absolute basic assumption of Judaism, of Torah Judaism, is that the Jewish people received the Torah. That Torah is the foundation and the source from which all of Jewish civilization and culture and life and meaning flow, and that according to that culture and civilization, based on that Torah, the Jewish people are supposed to be a sovereign nation in their land, living according to the precepts and concepts and commandments of the Torah. And by so doing, there will be a light to the nations. That is the absolute bedrock of Torah Judaism.
And he said to them, "Set your hearts to all of the words which I bear witness for you this day, so that you may command your children to observe, to do all the words of this Torah."
By the increasing influence of various circles of Kabbalistic thinking, circles of Kabbalists who existed in different places in the Jewish world. I'm talking now about the Middle Ages and the late Middle Ages, and as a result of this, more and more Jews became convinced that the salvation of the Jewish people, the Geula, the redemption, was entirely tied up with spiritual efforts and mystical endeavors. The most well-known of these episodes that resulted from this type of approach is known as the well-known episode of Shabtai Tzvi.
When we turn away from God, we empower this force. We give the Satan more energy.
In other words, his study of Kabbalah, for example, of Shabtai Tzvi's his knowledge of Kabbalah, the fact that his followers were known as Zoharistan, people who studied the Zohar, and their belief that it was this kind of study and different forms of mystical activity that would bring about the Geula in some miraculous way. All of this, of course, led to nothing. Some Jews decided to simply leave Judaism. The negativity of the situation was too great for them, or they were lured by other systems of thought or what have you. They wished to be accepted by non-Jewish society. They wished to better their physical realities of their lives, and this led them to abandon Judaism altogether. This entire historical episode, by the way, has been largely hushed up by the Jewish establishment, by the Torah establishment, for some hundreds of years now, because of the many questions that it raises. But those are the historical facts in brief. And it is no accident that shortly after this time, the Baal Shem Tov appeared on the scene with some new ideas, also based on mystical thought and practice, and it caught on. In other words, his study of Kabbalah, for example, of Shabtai Tzvi's his knowledge of Kabbalah, the fact that his followers were known as Zoharistan, people who studied the Zohar, and their belief that it was this kind of study and different forms of mystical activity that would bring about the Geula in some miraculous way. All of this, of course, led to nothing. Some Jews decided to simply leave Judaism. The negativity of the situation was too great for them, or they were lured by other systems of thought or what have you. They wish to be accepted by non-Jewish society. They wish to better their physical realities of their lives, and this led them to abandon Judaism altogether. Whereas some Jews, sometimes called Misnagdim, in other words, or Lithuanian Jews, in other words, Jews who simply continued the usual and traditional form of Galuth Judaism without any Hasidic influences. Some Jews of that type, the Jews of that type, I should say, knew that Jewish existence is unsatisfactory. That is why they davened every day for all kinds of things that were not part of their Jewish existence. They davened for returning to Eretz Yisrael, even though they really perhaps could have done so themselves, or they could have tried, or they could have spoken about it a lot more, at least. But they davened, they prayed to be able to return to Eretz Yisrael. They prayed for the reconstitution of a Jewish state, and the laws of the Torah, in which the laws of the Torah would be implemented. They prayed for the Malchut Beth David, the Davidic dynasty, and the sovereign existence of the Jewish people. They prayed for the Mikdash, for the temple. So they knew that something was missing. Judaism had not fulfilled its aims and its purposes on this earth as defined by Judaism itself, and as these people knew, they were praying for something that was not there every day, and they were willing to wait.
That's the mentality we're supposed to have. When people talk, oh, emunah, 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 this is emunah. Emunah means, you know, Hashem runs the show. You have one job. Akol midei shamayim, chutz mirat shamayim. Meaning everything is from Hashem, except the fear of Hashem, except serving Hashem. If we can do that, we can do anything. He tells Am Yisrael, you must know that Hashem, your God, He is the God, the faithful God, who safeguards the covenant and kindness for those who love Him, and for those who observe His commandments.
Woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who turn darkness to light and light to darkness, who replace bitter with sweet and sweet with bitter.